Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and esteemed participants, a very good morning to all of you. As we gather here for the final day of this enlightening faculty development program, it is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to each one of you. Before we dwell into today's insightful session, let us begin this auspicious day with a moment of reverence. To lead us in prayer, please welcome Mrs. J. Christy Lydia Johnsey, Assistant Professor of English, to invoke blessings upon gathering.
Good morning, everyone gathered here. Let us begin the seventh day of our faculty development program with prayer. Almighty and gracious Lord Jesus, as we come together on this auspicious final day of our faculty development program, we lift our hearts in gratitude for the opportunities of growth and learning you have bestowed upon us. Lord, we thank you for the wisdom shared, the knowledge gained, and the bonds formed during this enriching journey. On this concluding day, we seek your guidance. Dear Lord, help us to apply the knowledge we have gathered with renewed empowerment. Help us to bear fruits that benefits our families, students, educational community, and society. Dear Lord Jesus, we entrust the future of education, teachers, professors, and students in your mighty arms. Dear Lord, guide us as we shape the minds of the next generation. We specially pray to bless and keep our college secretary, Mr. Prem Kumar Rajasingh, Principal Dr. B. Jawahar Samuel, our resource person, convener, coordinator, organizing secretary, and organizing members and the esteemed faculty members gathered here. Dear Lord, we thank you once again for every blessing that you have showered upon us. Dear Lord, bless our endeavors and be with us throughout this day. In the matchless name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, ma'am, for the serene invocation. As we continue, may I now invite Mrs. T. Eunice Solomon for the reading from the Holy Bible.
The Bible verse chosen for today's reading is Luke chapter 6, verses 26 to 36. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them to do you. If you love those who love you, who credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who are good to you, what credits is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credits is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, expecting to be repaid in full. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because He is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful just as your Father is merciful. Here ends the lesson.
Thank you, ma'am, for those profound words. To officially inaugurate today's proceedings, let's welcome Dr. J. Stella, Assistant Professor and Research Guide, who will deliver the welcome address.
Good morning to all. A warm and pleasant good morning to all present here. First of all, I thank Almighty Lord Jesus Christ, who has helped us to complete the last 6 days in successful manner. We feel very happy to enter this last one, the 7th day program. Thank God. So on this occasion, we are extremely happy to have with us an eminent person, Dr. Varadarajan, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Yakarajan College, Madurai, as our chief guest. On behalf of our college, I extend a hearty welcome to you for the 7th day Faculty Development Program. Welcome you, sir. The one who acts as a pillar of support and strength with a clear vision and passion, entwined with novelty in all the activities of our college, is our secretary, Mr. Prem Kumar Rajasingh. Let me welcome to you, sir, to this wonderful occasion. I welcome our principal, Dr. Jawahar Samuel, who is the best supporter of all the challenging ventures taken by the college. A cordial welcome to you, sir. My hearty welcome to our HOD, Professor Jude Livingston, who heads us in all our department activities. Welcome you, sir. Risk, challenges, stakes are very high. These are good qualities and capacities. So that is our convener. Yes, I extend my warm welcome to Dr. Vyula Hemalata, Assistant Professor of English, convener of FDP program, NSS coordinator. I heartily welcome you, ma'am. I feel honored to you. Welcome all the organizers for their tireless efforts. So, and I welcome all the faculty members and my fellow colleagues for taking a keen part in this program. I'm sure that you all will feel enriched with knowledge after the completion of this event. I welcome you all once again to this FDP program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm welcome. Your words have set the tone for an engaging and insightful session ahead. We are honored to have esteemed personalities among us today, and it's now time to introduce our distinguished chief guest and resource person, Dr. T.S. Vardarajan. He is an individual whose illustrious journey in academia exemplifies dedication, scholarship, and an unwavering commitment to the field of English literature. Dr. T.S. Vardarajan, currently serving as an assistant professor of English at the PG and Research Department of English, Tyagarajar College, is an embodiment of scholarly excellence. His educational qualification, spanning a bachelor's, master's, MPhil, and PhD in English literature, reflect his relentless pursuit of knowledge and academic achievement. With over 23 years of enriching experience as a lecturer and an assistant professor at esteemed institutions like Tyagarajar College, Shastra Universities, and others, Dr. Vardarajan has significantly contributed to shaping young minds and fostering academic brilliance. His tenure includes key roles such as Deputy Controller of Examinations, membership in central committees, and numerous academic responsibilities that showcase his commitment to academic excellence and administrative proficiency. Dr. T.S. Varadarajan's PhD thesis on a new historicist approach to John Galsworthy's The Forsyte Saga stands as a testament to his scholarly expertise. His extensive research, marked by 25 publications, numerous webinars and workshop attendances, and 42 contributions as research person in FGPs and webinars, highlights his depth of knowledge and intellectual contribution to the academic domain. A prolific contributor to academic journals, Dr. T.S. Varadarajan serves in various capacities such as editor, reviewer, and editorial board member for several national and international peer-reviewed journals. His dedication extends further as a recognized research supervisor, guiding scholars in their pursuit of knowledge and research. Dr. T.S. Varadarajan's academic journey stands as an inspiration, exemplifying not only a passion for literature, but also an unyielding commitment to the holistic development of the academic fraternity. It is an absolute honor to have such a knowledgeable scholar among us, and we eagerly await the insights and knowledge that he graciously imposed during this faculty development program. So without further ado, I invite Dr. T.S. Varadarajan sir to take the virtual stage and guide us through this enlightening session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Livingston. Good morning to all. Before I begin, I would like to place on record my gratitude to the Almighty God first, and then respected secretary of the college, respected principal, head of the Department of English, Nazareth Margoschis College, Dr. Beulah, the convener, and a good friend of mine, members of staff, Department of English, Nazareth Margoschis College, and participants from different parts of India. My own research scholars, Mr. Perumal and Vanyadas, and learned colleagues who have joined from different places. And I deem it an honor and a privilege to be part of this particular FDP. Don't make noise, please. 1 minute. No noise, please. It's a great thing to be associated with the research scholars and English fraternity from different places. Before I share my screen on what actually we are going to have in terms of contemplating on English research and its importance, I would like to throw some light on the strenuous efforts taken by the teachers of the host college. Friends, organizing, conducting, and successfully conducting programs like this, though they become the part and parcel of our life, the effort one has to take in order to be agile and effective, it needs the precision, quality, and hard work. Every day, 4 hours, going around people, monitoring. It is a Herculean task indeed. And the secretary of the college and the principal have been doing a sheet anchor role in promoting a kind of education, awareness among us. So they deserve special mention. Apart from money constraints, technological aspects, the ultimate goal of any program like this will actually benefit the audience. And in that respect, the entire team of Department of English does a yeoman service in terms of making this 7-day program a great and a grand success. So my congratulations to the entire team. And coming back to the aspect of what you have been acquainting, rather I also have been acquainting these 6 days. English language and literature research, or we call it recent trends in English studies, gain momentum. And the people from different fields, from Bangalore, from Maharashtra, from Gujarat, from Tamil Nadu, they have been actually giving a lot of inputs about how one can take this legacy forward. Many of the English teachers who are here and who have a PhD, they know that this is another kind of putting something in an apple pie order, or what we call a perfect order. So as learned colleagues, we know there is no such thing called sacrosanct everything. We actually discuss something which we have been doing. And when you have a forum like this where people are drawn for different purposes, then its intensity will always go sky high and make huge impact on the part of learners. That is one thing great about this particular academic programs. And I do realize 4 hours, spending 4 hours a day, attending regular work, commitment. I take you back to the Corona time wherein the way we were taken for a ride by our students, either muting or unmuting and riding bike, going everywhere, vegetable market, everything, mother scolding boy or girl. Sometimes we know all these things. Again, there is a learning behind it that we cannot rule out. That's why we have assembled here. And when Dr. Beulah called me last month, it was a planned effort on the part of the convener and the entire team. I said immediately that I would be part of this program Beulah like. So I am here. So friends, starting from day one, we saw how Dr. John Sir began by telling all these things about the way one has to write thesis, different types, etc. And then yesterday evening, Dr. Rani Trideshni spoke on Proverbs. And in between, Dr. Prasant spoke on the importance of ELT through AI. And plenty of input that we got from this one umbrella term, recent trends in the English studies. I would like to take you to a particular aspect. Please, no noise, children. In this particular aspect, that is, what are the most important aspects, the quintessential aspects, the most ideal one, the most important one, the best practice that we have to follow in order to be a successful researcher or an academician for that matter. That you had did talk volume of the efforts taken by the speaker and also the way it was followed by the participants. So it is actually a kind of mutually exclusive aspect wherein we tended to actually reciprocate in such a way. We learn and we impact, rather impart the one we have learned. So day 7, the last day, session 1, we just begin now. And dear friends, I have brought a few slides only for my purpose. You know, when you make a presentation, these things are quite common to make your presentation focused. If I have to talk extempore, then the focus won't be that much effective and the purpose will not serve the motto or the theme of this particular FDP. So those slides are meant for the speaker who wants to connect with the audience in such a way. It should be focused. Having taken that particular aspect only, I have brought those slides and I try to share now. If I fail moving the slides appropriately, we had that problem yesterday, technological snag or signal problem, whatever that we encounter. I do request Dr. Livingston or Beulah to share from their side so that I can do it without any difficulty. So thank you, friends. We get into this mode with the last appeal that only these academic exercises that we have been part of will make our academic life, professional life quite fruitful. And these are made mandatory by UGC, AICTE, and other bodies for teachers across India. And only a training, later on a kind of assessment, will always cater to the need of what actually one has to achieve. In this respect, this FDP, this 7-day FDP will make a huge impact on your part. Thank you. Let me share the screen. Kindly tell me if I am right. Otherwise, I will seek the guidance of Mr. Livingston. Is it moving, friends? One
Yes,
of
sir.
you
Yes,
can
sir.
tell me whether does it have a complete view, Professor? Can it be read by the participants easily?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or I will just raise the size of the. Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm able to share. Sometimes and the participants, you are allowed to intervene at any time, because it is nothing but what we know already we are discussing. That's all. So friends, is the occasion. To tear a leaf from Dr. Rani Priyadarshini, we begin with a proverb or a kind of axiom. Alexander Pope, he is a great writer. In his an essay on man, actually comes with this idea: the proper study of mankind is man. So why this FDP? It makes you think. In turn, it improves your ability to think further, and then you remain or you set to benchmark in order to develop or standardize a man's life. Say your children at home, your children in the college, if you are a teacher, if you are a research scholar, you impact your fellow research colleagues to discuss and then to deliberate something. So we begin with this man's great saying of thinking leads to improvising, then ultimately it should serve the purpose of uplifting the standard of mankind. That is how it goes. So this FDP by Nazareth Margoschis College aims at giving you only this aspect. Friends, this is what I have decided. We know that roadmap, the plan of how we are going to proceed. So I do introduce the title, followed by talking about research in general. Then we all know quantitative and the qualitative research with one or two inputs. Everybody knows it, but somebody comes and tells something unique of it, then you are attracted, or you are wanting to know something, or you would like to get something. That's all. And then we particularly focus on research in English with various approaches like thematic, comparative, theory-based. And then with which the research has to be carried out. We have novel, drama, poetry, biography, autobiography, short story, etc. Then how these materials need to be looked into, and how it should be seen. And then the one that is always associated with research methodology, then MLA, Modern Language Association, of American Psychological Association, and Chicago Manual of Style. And then I have brought a few titles of the perfect thesis. And then I'm going to make an appeal by way of making a request that how research can be carried out in this particular way also. And then there is a kind of interaction that is there. And conclusion followed by interaction, or vice versa. And if I'm not right, Dr. Livingston, kindly tell me, it is 10:30. At what time should I stop?
Sir?
Don't come. Professor, when am I supposed to close it?
Sir, 10:30. Sorry, sir, 11:30. So after 11:30, we will have discussion on.
Fine, perfect. So I take you at 10:30 now up to 11:20 minutes. Okay, fine. So the quintessential elements of English research and appraisal from literature standpoint, what is it all about? Does it have anything to offer? Does it have anything to say something unique? And we go like this. Any research that we do, it is meant for serving something in an ideal way. And a drama can serve its purpose, also a novel, short story, etc. And benchmarking is always required, friends, because only when you go to any shop, you buy anything, you check whether it is ISI confined. Or when you buy jewelry, you check for the symbol 916 KDM. The quality that we give importance, it has been going on from time immemorial. So in research also, a kind of appraisal, assessment, benchmarking, sustaining quality, these things are required. And in order to do that, how does the current research scenario in English studies actually provide ample opportunity, or how this notion is taken further? That is what the entire title is all about. Now I take you back. The quintessential elements of English research, the most important aspects of English research, and appraisal. Appraisal means assessment from a literature point of view. That means I do focus only on how to do research in literature, not in ELT or not in any other method that we go by. We simply follow the English research with reference to English literature. This again we know, any work that we do requires this one. Look at the plan Dr. Beulah and her team have been working on. It is a systematic work they started and it is being undertaken. And today is the last day, and it is only to increase the stock of knowledge. So you can take it in that way. And World Cup cricket team, final match, we do research. Why did India fail? The SWOT analysis that we go. And then we come to a conclusion that Australians are one shade better than us on a particular day. Again, it is a research. You can give plenty of things to actually say why India was fumbling, or how two players in Australia did make huge impact by their effortless game. And when you take your wife, if you are married at home, and how does she cook? How does she make the children go to school? Also, working women, additional trouble, burden. Everything is research. Research is not that you have to submit your thesis and get it like. So variety is the spice of life. You know that proverb. So research is only to carry out or to identify that variety that we have in our academia, with a special mention to our academic or professional life, how research is actually required in order to make yourself eligible to pursue a job or to get a job or to work, etc. And when we further classify research, we have these two categories of quantity and quality. And anything that can be quantity, there are more than 100 people here. And I just classify them as teachers, as students, as research scholars, and as teachers with research supervision as part of their job, and as teachers who are good at technology, tech savvy teachers, young teacher, male, female, heterogeneous group, quantitative research. If you take number of children study in Nazareth, the Margoschis college, and you classify them into the branches, and how many of them are able to talk in English comfortably, and how many of them require a kind of assistance. If you just go by this particular way, then you make a survey or you measure or you do something in order to quantify. On the other hand, this qualitative research does deal with only one aspect, only one word: substantiating, assessing, appraising, evaluating, examining, interpreting, and then try to say something. And to say something, we need some evidences as a requirement, mandatory requirement. So we call it qualitative research. And for the former one, quantitative, you have an example like doing some research in ELT, English language teaching. And you can employ plenty of methods, statistics, tools that you use, the mean, mode, medium kind of a finding that you have. And you make the hypothesis either null or realized kind of a thing. Or you take different levels of English language learning at a tertiary level, intermediate level, almost like hearts and lots, lower order thinking skill and a higher order thinking skill kind of a thing. So you need to show the evidences of your interpretation, which requires a sample, survey, etc. But here, the one that we are focusing on now is about only interpretation. So when you go for qualitative research, friends, you are actually endowed with the quality of creativity, your ability to read the text between the lines, beyond the lines, above the lines, and try to bring in something very important. In that respect, close reading of a text becomes mandatory for any research that we do in qualitative research or interpretation-based, empirical-based research. Then, friends, I want you to be aware of this particular aspect. I voluntarily bring this element for this session. We go from a normal observation of how research and development has been the heart of any nation. India, you take the launch of Chandrayaan-3, a successful launch when it goes to the South Pole, and then lived there for 20 days, took some photographs. And then when we a full day, that 15 days, how it fell, how it did not work. That is research. That is based on engineering research, where you have electronics and communication, electrical and electronics, and computer science, mathematics, fluid mechanics, mechanical engineering, semiconductor, physics, chemistry, nanomaterial, nanotechnology. Everything has to be taken into account to brand something what we call engineering, because we are living in tandem and we have a close association with what we do. I'm in Madurai and you are in different parts, we are connected. So it is made possible only by engineering and technology. And research in engineering has been always closely associated with the man's lifestyle. That's why we prioritize engineers wherever we go. Though we have more than 500 engineering colleges in Tamil Nadu alone, and still we talk about quality sustenance. We prefer only top 100 colleges and do our engineering or make our children study that. And when you go to medicine, you need not ask for anything. every patient a doctor handles, and the way he treats different diseases. So medical field is something, they have to prove every day, starting from computer tomography, CT scan to MRI scan to everything that you talk about in terms of scanning. And in terms of prescribing medicines, the combination of tablets, Biocon, you can Dr. Reddy's, you can take plenty of companies, the very good combination. If you take Milk Bikis and the other product of Milk Bikis 50-50, Milk Bikis is fully sweet. 50-50 is, as the name goes, 50% salt and 50% sweet. But the combination of a 50-50 biscuit or the ingredients that we have, it is a tall order for the manufacturer. On the other hand, Milk Bikis fully sweet biscuits can easily be manufactured in tons and it can be supplied. Again, minute research is being undertaken, and they have that method of preparing. So they got either patent right or they got the combination. If you go to MR Hotel, modern restaurant in Madurai, the sambar that they give you, you cannot match it with anywhere else in the world. The trademark sambar that they have been making. Or if you take any food anywhere, if I have to have this food, I have to go there. That is also research. When you do something regularly, you become the master. So medicine plays a vital role. During Corona too, how India was helping many nations by way of sending this injections, Covishield, etc. So science does basic things. Actually, physics, chemistry, mathematics, they actually help engineering to thrive. And a recent announcement by Government of India that you can do away with science if at all you want to do MBBS. Again, it is $1 million question. Last year or before that, they made you can do engineering without mathematics. So at one point of time, on one hand, academic flexibility is actually appreciated, but not at the expense of the basic understanding of these things. Let us see how things work. So engineering, medicine, science, they rule the roost, no doubt about it. And many of you know, and I also know, how an engineer serves the society. Now, in front of my house, they are giving pipe connection for Jal Jeevan plant. They dug, they put pipe, they make holes, they make all kinds of noises. Look at the sound you could hear hammering. 25 years back, friends, the same thing was available. Water was coming, or you have to go to a place and tap water. Now it comes to your house. Technology is developing leaps and bounds. So if I ask you engineering, then you can say anything that you have. Medicine, the way we are treated by doctors whenever we suffer from any illness, starting from chemotherapy and then variety of things. You can see, practically you can see the way Apollo hospitals and great hospitals in different parts of India, AIMS and medical colleges in different parts of the world, India, Tamil Nadu. You have evidence of their being good at research. But what about arts? Now I come to this particular aspect. Again, I don't claim that this is my unique way of interpreting things. Putting something in perspective, thereby making your understanding quite easier, that's all. Friends, arts, research in arts actually gives you a kind of awareness among the people who take English as a subject. If you read my thesis, or if you read my novel, if at all I'm a writer, or if you read my short story, then you are able to understand that, an idea of this kind can also be made possible. That is the contribution. The variety is the contribution. Though you cannot match with the contribution of a doctor, of a medico, of an engineer, of a technocrat, our way of contributing to the academia, to the research R&D, our R&D is related to the way you interpret and you make others read your paper, your thesis, your many things are actually there to actually understand. So research in arts can be understood in this way. You are contributing to your fellow teachers, to your fellow students. Then it becomes a model. Then it becomes a model so that you are able to understand not this one, that one. Research in arts can be understood only in this way. We go further. Or that as the title goes, the quintessential elements of English research. And what is the benchmark that we have to set, or where is the raw material that we have to understand. So either you take a novel written by somebody from any place in the world, or a play, or a poem, or a short story, or somebody writing about somebody like Praveen Chawla, the former election commissioner of India, wrote a biography on Mother Teresa, the lady who made everyone proud because of her indefatigable, at the same time empathetic service to the humanity. And autobiography, you can just do by yourself, or you can take a few biographies, you can go for a narrative study, and you go for a thematic study like. So only these 4 or 5 that we have been following this from time immemorial, and there are already existing knowledge available on these things, and we have to be different from what others have said. This I keep telling wherever I go, and that's why intertextuality becomes one of the important aspects. No text is something what we call the best, the most original like. Every text relies on other available texts, and it is our duty to unearth the novelty that the writer uses or the interpreter. If you take reader response criticism, then author has no role to play. So plenty of approaches that we have. So we have to embark on either a novel, which is the most convenient way of doing research, and not a challenging task at all. And a drama, you have to paraphrase whatever you read, a bit difficult task. And poetry collection, quite challenging task. The raw material goes more. You have to take something from everything. You cannot take everything from something. So poem does make your research, if at all you select, a Herculean task, and a task that cannot be achieved just like that. And the short story, again, you have the same problem of going for many collections and then try to understand the difference between a novel and a novella, the difference between a short story and a novella, and so on and so forth. And biography, somebody's feeling is recorded by another person. Whether you have avenues for doing research with regard to biography, or we call it a non-literary, non-canonical, there is no canonical text that you have to work on. So how you do with non-fiction, you call it a non-fiction. So we have only these things to work on. And friends, there are all roads lead to Rome, that you know. And how you have to go to Italy or Rome from London, from Paris, from the country Germany, from Portugal, from Sweden, and from India. You have your destination is to reach Rome. You have plenty of ways and means. You can take the distant path. You can take the shortest path. It all depends upon your affordability and your interest. In that respect, a novel or a drama can be seen by the researcher or by the teacher, by the student in many ways. And one of the most dominant ways the text can be seen, friends, is through the social undercurrent that has been prevalent in any work of art. Or when a writer is able to express his simmering discontent, or when a writer is able to eulogize a particular thing that happened. When you take Milton, during Milton was helping the REG of Oliver Cromwell, how Puritanism was spreading far and wide, and why entertainment was simply avoided, and how it was restored. We spoke in terms of the restoration. And when we talked about the authorities, they have the dealing and they have their exchanges. We talk about reforms, reform bills, Renaissance. We talk about different aspects of knowledge being given from different places, Greek and Latin. And friends, I share you with one information. Milton spent 8 to 10 years for reading world literature. Only then he started writing Paradise Lost, Regained, or whatever his masterpiece, the magnum opus, he has been able to bring in. So our duty is to see any text from a social angle, from a cultural angle, so that a better understanding can be achieved by the researcher. In this aspect, a sociological approach can be handy when you take the novels of Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities, or Great Expectations, or David Copperfield, or any work of art where you have social problems being discussed. If you take Eugene O'Neill's The Harriet, a drama, American drama, then you understand what is expressionism. Thereby, you understand, okay, this drama can be studied in the light of expressionism, where Young did not have any say in the society where people were stinking with wealth, like the owner of the ship, that lady, Wilfred, I forget that name, I recall and tell you. By way of looking at this man, Young, the huge man, that lady, Douglas, yeah, I got it. Douglas fell flat. Oh, filthy beast telling. So the author, through the hairy ape, not talking about the way Douglas and Young exchange hostile conditions, but the society. So you can take social angle. You can take a Tughlaq by Girish Karnad, or you can take any drama, any novel from social point of view. You have to unearth that it is already there. A new dimension is what you are supposed to bring in. And cultural, CULT, cultural, culture, we have different terms now, cultural studies, culture and anarchy, and how culture is intertwined. When you come to my home, the way I treat you, the way I behave, like the way you behave, tit for tat. And during Christmas time, you share your sweets, etc. During Ramzan time, Muslims share sweets. They show empathy for others. Every festival has got some social relevance, cultural aspects. During Diwali times, Hindus give sweets, and he doesn't spare anybody. Whoever he comes across, meets, giving money, helping, all cultural aspects. how those elements are dealt by writers. If they do deal, then how this particular aspect of cultural element that you find in any work of art. Have a term cultural materialism, an equivalent term to new historicism from American point of view by Stephen Greenwald. Here, Raymond Williams gives the same thing in another way. One of my scholars is working on the cultural materialism for his research. And the psychological, you have to go from Virginia Woolf, stream of consciousness technique, or Jack Lacan's, or Sigmund Freud, or you can take anybody for that matter, where the understanding of a character or the story or the plot can be established through a particular study of mind. We call it as psychological. And then psychological based study do have a great significance in terms of research output, because you have to fall back on a particular theory to establish your standpoint. And then political, that everybody, every Tom, Dick and Harry knows, friends, that politically we are bound to do something. Why Shakespeare wrote Macbeth? Does he wanted to show you his virtuosity of writing drama? I would say a big no in one aspect. He wanted to actually praise this man, James, the King James Scott of James of Scotland. And as soon as Elizabeth quit, he came. And Shakespeare wanted to establish a kind of connect with the new king. So Macbeth, then you have this gunpowder plot, wherein the Protestantism is being challenged by the Roman Catholics. And on the part of Lady Macbeth, you have her negating divine right theory. Or when you take Marlowe's The Jew of Malta, the way Jew is treated by Christians. Or Vincent of Venice, where the Christians are supposed through Portia. Or you can take plenty of anti-Semitism that you talk about. Or you take the present conflict between Israel and Palestine, Hamas. All these things, it will be recorded by somebody after the war gets over. So politically, again, Oliver Cromwell's great rule with the support of Milton, but his son did not win the heart of the people, so he had to bite the dust. And then Restoration came, and then Romantic Age, then Wordsworth. All these people called it, Biographia Literaria, lyrical ballads. Then going to Canterbury Tales, everything has political angle. Canterbury Tales do talk about the greatness of the rank and file, like Freya's tale, Monk's tale, Clark's tale, Nance the priest's tale. Everybody is taken into account for understanding. So what a great man Chaucer has been. So political. You take any text, the ruling, even Stephen Greenwald, Michael Bakhtin, Clifford Geertz, everyone talks about this political angle, the discursive practices that we have, the power structure that is political. You can understand a text through that lens, and you can work. And economics, Marxism comes into play whenever you talk about any work where a social problem is dealt. David Copperfield or Philip Pippin, Great Expectations. The Bildungsroman novel talks about the problems faced by working class against the moneyed class. So whenever a writer wants to champion the working class, then he can be matched with the Marxian ideology, where Marx wants to create a classless society, but it did not succeed summum bonum, but it did create great impact on the part of the people of the world. Engels and Marx have been spot on, and they give us various avenues for our research, because new historicism is an offshoot of Marxism. You can take new criticism, you can take structuralism, confinement, post-structuralism, just you go like anything, deconstruction, again, multiple interpretation. All these things are possible because of this idea of Marxian ideology. Feminism, you take eco-criticism, Professor Frederick must have spoken at length on that, and what not. So any study that you undertake where there is a rift between moneyed class and working class, then Marxian structure, superstructure concept can be brought in, friends. And then now, how do we approach a text in terms of what it is able to give you? At the end of the day, we are supposedly make some impact or contribution which is accepted by every university, either Manonmaniam Sundara University from Tirunelveli or MKU Madurai or Bharatidasan University Tiruchirappalli or Bharatiyar Coimbatore or Oxford University London or Cambridge. Universally, we have to do something. The methodology may change. So a text for a research aspirant may have the following idea. That is, he can be given a chance to study a text in terms of culling out all the core elements with which the work is made. We call it a thematic study. What is the central idea? As teachers, when we set question papers for UG and PG, we embark or we bank on only this thematic study. What is central idea? We use the word explore, depict, assess, surprise, and then we just use that. So that is what we call thematic study, where you combine all the available scholarship on a particular text or the author, and then comparative study, you make comparison. We were told by the speaker, the introducer of yesterday's last session, that how Ronnie was versatile both in Tamil and English. Or we talk about anybody, even my own professor, Dr. K.G. Sheshadri, former dean, Sastra University, was a versatile scholar in terms of both Tamil and English. But he studied only BA Max some 50 years back. He is no more now. Or I have my own like a colleague, Dr. Ilangovan sir, who is good at both Tamil and English. And translation comes quite handy. And my own professor, my research supervisor, Dr. B. Kishamurthy sir, a versatile scholar in every field of translation, literature, language, etc. So comparison. You compare the work of the Tamil literature and work of English literature. Our conventional way of asking or telling Bharati and Shelley, both of them are revolutionary poets like. Or you can take any drama like comparing magical realism of Italo Calvino or our man, the man who was recently shot by one of the men in America. What's his name? I recall and tell you. I will recall that man.
Salman
He is known
Rushdie.
for his controversial writing. Thank you very much. Salman Rushdie, Italo Calvino, Ben Okri, Nigerian writer. They all dealt with magical realism in such a way, but how they contextualize their understanding in terms of what they have to supply. And then we call it a comparative study. And then analysis-based one, very important one. I do give top priority to the third bulleted point, applying theories, so that a better understanding of a work of art is established without any difficulty to the examiner, to the academia, etc. So, literatures of the British, American, Indian, African can be said as a text. So, we have to apply theories, or we have to study in such a way. At the end of the day, you are supposed to give a scholarship on a particular text by way of adding something unique which should not be repeated. 1 second. Sorry. Then when we move this one, this is quite understandable. We come to the second segment of this presentation. And this goes without saying one of the important elements. The methodology is meant only for making your authentic. Sorry. I give an example. Supposing you imagine I give a lecture on gratitude. Gratitude. Nandri. Then I keep on talking about the gratitude. Gratitude is a virtue, I say. It is a great quality everyone should possess, I say. It is a rare virtue. People are, they find it very difficult to nurture, I say. And finally, I come to a conclusion, or to make my argument quite effective, I say, I quote from Thiruvalluvar, Nandri marappodu nandrandu, nandralladu andre marappodu nandru. So, no hidden agenda if somebody has not shown his or her gratitude to what you have done. And you have to forget if they have not helped you. Even if you help them when it matters most, you should not exaggerate. That's the idea. So how do I say by telling or giving numerous things about the concept of gratitude? I fall back on Thiruvalluvar. Truth alone triumphs. I say every time you have this idea, then you say Satyam eva jayate. Truth alone triumphs. We have all these things. So for authentic evidence, authentic showing of things, we use research methodology. And also for uniformity, that's very important. Everybody cannot afford to do his own idea of writing thing. Like open-ended questions and aspects are there should be uniformity. That's why we go for methodology. And then consistency is the watchword for any work that you do, either doing exercise or playing or doing whatever you like. Consistency matters most in any field. Getting up early in the morning or doing your work in time, everything requires the consistency. So also consistent argument, use of tenses, either present tense throughout or past tense throughout, or using active voice or passive voice or mixing, a justifiable mixture. You can take plenty of things for that matter. And a systematic approach. So you cannot deviate from the general guides that Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Friends, there is a signal fluctuation, I think. Okay, are you with me? Can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have to again present my screen, I think, because of this. What happened was, can you see my correct screen, friends?
Yes,
The existing
sir.
one, right? Thank you. So we move to the second aspect of methodology. We use methodology only for making it, first of all, authentic, making it uniform, consistent, and then to have a systematic approach. On the other hand, how to set benchmark for acceptable model for making your claim quite great? It is through the sheets. I just wanted to throw some light on it, friends. Actually, all these things happened only in America. If you take the APA or Chicago or any academic journals for that matter, friends, what happened? A group of people in America sat together to have a particular thing related to research, to have a common code of conduct or common denomination. And they sat and discussed at length and then decided, okay, we can go for engineering this particular sheet, for medicine this particular one, for literature this one, for language this one, social science research this one, scientific research this one, like. So it is only for the purpose of making any claim something correct, acceptable, and then to show loyalty or gratitude to the source we cite. On top of it, we have the problem of plagiarism. Plagiarism kills us like any contagious disease, even worse than COVID-19, because as long as you are not caught, there is no problem. And the softwares that we have for plagiarism check, they do tremendous service to avoid plagiarism. And there are market very low priced software, and there are highly costly one, and we have to make use of it. Why are they thriving now? How do people make money out of selling software to a university, Urkunt, or any even Grammarly that checks our English, like Chat GPT, AI? People talk about artificial intelligence. Now Elon Musk comes with another thing telling you can make money by spending 1,000 rupees, like. So the technological advancement. 1 minute. 1 minute. The technological advancement on one hand makes our life quite actually convenient. On the other hand, we have to go after originality that is always there, that we have to take care. That's why these things are coming like anything, like softwares, plagiarism check. 40-50 years back, no plagiarism computer software available, but still they maintain and knowledge. That is due to their perseverance, or for that matter, their dedication to a particular task that they have undertaken. So this is the backdrop of this particular one. So modern language association we use for literature-based one. Again, segregation is only for making it and making uniform one of its imperatives. That's all. Only for uniformity. If you do research in literature, come on, follow this method. Where do you write your name? Do you have to italicize the title? If it is a novel, do you have to italicize? If it is an essay, do you have to put it in inverted comma? And where do you have to use your colon? Mechanics of writing. And MLA 9th edition, the recent one, what does it say about all these things? So literature, compartmentalization, friends, I call it. And then American Psychological Association, APA, they have like this. If you do research in economics, business administration, commerce, we call it a social science. Then they go for this APA, and we also add our, what do you call, ELT, English language teaching, for that matter. And the Chicago Manual of Style, another style sheet, friends, where we have history, theology, philosophy, political science. Again, for uniformity and uniqueness, but they are actually, what do you call, one and the same. In order to maintain a kind of distinctness, we follow this particular thing. And friends, one of the most important things you have to remember is this one. Individual journals style. Every academic journal, whether you call it a journal that is indexed in Web of Science, or Scopus, or SCI, Science Citation Index, or any benchmarking, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, they have a particular style. You have to follow only that. There you cannot go and say, no, I do my research in literature, I follow only MLA. They don't penalize you, but they make it very ready. They make it a ready reckoner aspect. And in that case, our job is made easier. Now, 20, 30 years back, researchers struggled a lot to order the works cited column by way of having postcard, doing all these things. Now, ascending, descending order will make your work very neat and easier. So that also you have to take care. And there is no hard and fast rule, but if it is like MPhil dissertation or PhD thesis, you have to follow these things according to your subject. And since this entire audience is from English, there is no problem at all for us to understand that. For literature, MLA, for ELT, actually APA, but they have only one motto, that it has to be made original. At the same time, intertextuality cannot be ruled out. Thank you. Yeah. Look at now. Can you see my next screen? Kindly tell me. I have another 10 minutes. I finish at 11:25, friends, if you don't mind. Yeah. Ideal structure of a PhD thesis. It goes like this only. The title of your thesis is your thesis statement that you make it in the beginning of your first page of your thesis. And you can call it the title or thesis or research question. All are one and the same. You have to say what it is. What are you going to deal with? And abstract, 100 words to 200 words of what you have to say about what you're going to deal with. I take you to Shakespeare or to any or Wordsworth, my own writer. If you take Shakespeare, all his dramas are written in such a way, the first scene of the play can be taken as a model for what the rest of the play is all about. You can easily guess. Macbeth, say for example, the ghosts come and declare that Bango's successors will be the King of Scotland, whereas Macbeth will never become the King of Scotland like. Or you can take anything. If you take my author John Galsworthy, the first 3 pages of the novel, the trilogy, how the Forsytes, the middle class, upper middle class people of Victorian England will fall. Their money-minded nature, how they are going to suffer. Within 3 pages, they are able to see. I actually take a photograph of that particular 3 pages and send it to Dr. Hemalata. You can have it later. By way of reading that, the entire novel, the 3-novel trilogy can be understood. So abstract should be like that. Anticipation, expectation, like that we have concepts. There are many writers who choose first writing something, then going one by one, making suspense. And a conventional way of doing something, and then again making you understand the idea. And then introduction should have a plan, complete plan of what you're going to do, the entire thesis. Core chapters where you find your own claim. I claim I am the authority on this particular aspect. So I claim it is my own work like. And then you have summation, you gather, you have to say what you have already said in past tense. Introduction, you have to say in present tense fully. Summation, you can use past tense. Not a bad idea. And then this is my penultimate chapter, I think, slide, I think, 1 or 2. Look at those titles. My own title. How should a research title or thesis title be written? Look at, my professor gave me this after much deliberation, and it should be catchy to the eyes of the reader. Not for making it flowery, but for making the purpose quite beautiful and purposeful. Look at a new historicist approach to John Galsworthy's The Forsyte Saga. Look at the color. 3 colors I used. One is approach. The green one is the name of the author. The rose one, pink is what do you call? The title of the work. Like that it should be. And I recall the words of Dr. John Sager, who said 12 words. You have to use 12 words in your thesis title like. And then go to the second one. An application of Gerard Jenny's narrative discourse 2. First one approach, second one author and the works. If you say selected, select and selected, you have plenty of argument. Select means there are 5 novels, you have taken only 3. You can call it select. Selected means you have taken the whole, like. And again, there is argument. This is right, that is right. We have to accept whatever is convenient to us, and then you should be able to argue that you are right. And then when you go to the third one, friends, look at the one that is in green, application of eco-criticism. Professor Suresh Frederick must be making plenty of mention. An application of eco-criticism approach. Then the author Margoschis Devi, a tribal writer, Bengali writer, then her works. It can be novel, it can be drama. Ajir is one of her novel, which is converted into novel from drama, like plenty of things that you have. When you move further, friends, then look at analysis of magical realism. So what is magical realism? And then what are the novels of Italo Calvino, Ben Okri, Salman Rushdie? So Italo Calvino, Italian writer, then African, then Indian, Salman Rushdie. Then you make a comparative study. So it is comparative study also. So what is magic? How do you find magical realism in these works? That is what you have to understand. So that is your scholarship. And then rhetorical discourse analysis of select dialogues. Hollywood movies, the primary text. Select dialogues, the one you choose. Then your approach must be rhetorical discourse analysis. How a scene can be understood by you using different methods of theatrical aspects or rhetorics, like you talk about the dialogue delivery, the praxis that we talk about, plenty of techniques that we have. And then look at an example of a thematic study, thesis based on theme, deferred no longer, the netting of dreams. What is deferred no longer, netting of dreams? I cannot afford to wait. Come on, I have to be doing fast. So the place of Lorraine Hansberry talk about the aspiration of women, the way they were actually conditioned by oppression, and the way they were able to come up, all these things. And then, friends, we have transition of women, a study of Chitra Banerjee, Diva Kuruni select novels. This one, the second one is applicative, that is based on theory. This one is just theme-based. A study of Chitra Banerjee, Diva Kuruni select novels. Again, speculation, fully or partially. Here it is given select a few. And what are the different phases of women? How in her novels, how the characters in her novels go for different change from one, a sea change that you see in their character from an ordinary housewife to a job goer to a CEO to a technocrat like. And then this is the last penultimate slide, friends, just 2 minutes. So your research work, your thesis or your article that you write for academic journals as part of your university's requirement. When you write, it should be original, can be structured properly, then it should have grammatical unity, then logical connectivity, I call it, or we call it rather cohesive and coherent. And the close reading of the text is a must, because it alone gives you the aroma, the eureka moment that you will be working on the day of your viva voce. Then literary theory based study can be viable, most appropriate nowadays. No longer theme based study, no longer comparative study, experimental study. And your writing should be simple, brief and precise. And your thesis should be a model, or article must be a model. They can be referred to by anybody. Thereby you develop your citation, your Google Scholar citation, your Scopus indexed citation, your Web of Science citations. You can make yourself quite great by way of doing all these things, because it is like a journey begins with a single leaf. It is like a journey. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single leap kind of a thing. Then conclusion, that's all recapitulation. See, we began talking about what research, and we did talk about explaining the title. And then I take you to this particular quite easy so that you can have a look at. This is what we saw. So general research in general, we did see. Then we did talk about with examples, quantity and quality based research. Then what is theme, comparative literature, and the theory based one, literary theory application, literary criticism and theory based. Then where we have to work on, and then some aspects related to the simmering discontent of the author being revealed, and how you understand it and pick through close reading of the text. And then the second segment, we did talk about research methodology. First one for authenticity, consistency, uniformity, and then other aspects. The second half meant for making it what you call citations, the MLA style sheet like MLA, APA, CMS, etc. And then we did talk about the model thesis titles. And now I want you to interact with, and you are requested to email me if at all you have anything to offer. This is my email address. I respond the next day, if not the same day. And now I stop my what do you call screen. Now over to the organizers. If you have any questions, you can ask. I'm ready to answer if I know. Otherwise, I will get to know and answer. Yes, friends. Can you make my screen visible, Dr. Livingston? Or I have to do myself?
Yes, your screen is visible, sir.
For me, it looks like a man sitting in the corner of the wall, like. That's okay. What is there in seeing my own face? No problem.
Good morning, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, please. You have
Sir,
to wait.
Sir, I am Narmada, PhD scholar from Sri GV Visalakshi College for Women, Udumalpet. May I know the appropriate way of you applying theories in a research? Whether can I take a single theory or can I take a perspective, and while moving with that perspective, applying multiple theories here and there is okay? May I know about it, sir?
Yeah. Yes, Narmada, I will respond. Nothing wrong in having more than one theory, but if you fall back on only one theory, there is consistency and there is a systematic study that can be made possible, because research is nothing but a kind of approach with a partial aspect. You cannot bring in all the elements that you like. I will come, wait. I'll drop you. Okay, Dharmata, the point is one theory, 3 works or 4 works. Okay. More than one theory, then you lose focus. But you are afraid of having pages, having material like. Then you have an ideal structure that we talk about. You review of literature, you can fill pages using your own author and his or her scholarship. And you can talk about the theoretical framework. VIT University insists on a particular chapter meant for theories being used, though I have reservations against it. So it all depends upon the individual. The most importantly, Narmata, yes, Joshua Jnanaraj, I will give. I will give to Beulah ma'am. She will give you. Don't worry. Narmata, in terms of understanding your question, I go like this. Choose the text. After choosing the text, check whether appropriate theory for this text can be given. Then you do your work. Multiple theories will not make your work, because I have corrected almost 30 to 40 theses, PhD, MPhil, MA like. I make it a point in my report that consistency is lacking because of too much of theoretical aspect, or even when you take a theme, it has too much applications. Thank you, Narmata.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Aishwarya, for intertextuality, my scholar, Mr. Perumal, is working on that only. You read Julia Kristeva and you read the practitioners of intertextuality. I give an example. You know the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is one of the epics in India. If Mahabharata is the epic, Bharati wrote Panjali Sabadam by taking into account the way Panjali is reacting to the way she is ill-treated by Kauravas, or her own criticism against her 5 husbands. So Bharati's version of Panjali Sabadam is an example of intertext to Mahabharata. Like that, you have this model and then you work on so that your understanding will be better. And come on. You are not, your voice is not clear, Dr. Sindur. Okay, fine. So intertextuality, my dear, as a postmodern perspective, you have plenty of applications that you have. Many a time, you have redundancy or overlapping will happen. And again, if you take any theory, a theory may have plenty of facets. If you take new historicism for that matter, you have an idea, close reading. Close reading is one of the objectives of new historicism. So also cultural materialism. So also structuralism, right? And one more thing is about historicizing the text is another aspect. Textualizing the history, that is another aspect. And textualizing the history is not at all possible in our context of education. We can only historicize, because no text can be devoid of any historical context is a basic understanding. So you mail me, I will send you a few details. Would it be okay to make brief interpretations?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so brief interpretations of what, Mr.? Mr. Livingston, can you make them open their audio and then speak so that I could get some...
Sir, shall I read that question?
Yes, Professor.
Sir, may I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah, please introduce yourself and then ask. Yes, Dr. Jenna, please introduce yourself and talk. Come on. Okay, others?
Okay. Sir,
Sir,
shall I
good morning,
read
sir.
this? Okay.
Yeah, please, Vanida, again.
Sir, good morning, sir. Thank you for the lecture. Could you please elaborate only on the part of framing research questions, sir? How to frame it better?
Research questions can be, need not be too many, Vanyadas. You can confine yourself with 3 or 4. Minimum 3 will do,
okay.
Because too many, yeah. Yes, I do it. Select, once again, Vanidas, selected.
Yes, sir.
Selected everything, select partial. Like that you can take, Dr. Jenna. Or you email me, I will clarify, don't worry. Coming back to Vanyadas, your research question need not be more than 3. If it serves the objective of your research, that is okay. Say, for example, I just give an example from my own thesis, or the one I corrected, or the one I showed. Maghasmeta Devi's selected works. Then we have eco-criticism. Then what is the relevance? Application of eco-criticism Mahasweta Devi's select works. The research question could be, who is Mahasweta Devi? What are her credentials? What is eco-criticism? Whether eco-criticism can be applied to this work, whether it is viable. These are all research questions that should be formed beforehand. Like almost like realizing hypothesis and then telling whether it is null hypothesis or what do you call hypothesis realized like. Research question that is, don't confuse yourself. It is another way of interpreting your thesis statement using interrogatory sentences. That's all, Unidas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody, Dr. Livingston, do you have any question to?
Yes, sir. Dr. Jena has a question.
Yeah.
Would you kindly explain again the difference between select and selected works?
Yeah. I told him actually in between. Select means there are many works written by an author. You are choosing only a few. That is a select. Selected, on the other hand, you take the whole. Supposing a writer has written only 3 novels or 4 novels, you have taken the entire lot. That's the difference. But again, these definitions are relative. And if you choose only a part from the whole, always use select. Yes, some select work. It refers to there are 10 novels written by the author or 10 plays. You have chosen only 3 or 4, like that only. I hope I have, may say, what do you call? Yeah. Anybody else, Livingston? Yeah. Yes, please.
Sir, I have previously asked about the application of theory, sir. I'm Narmata. What I mean is actually, I'm taking a single theory called New Historicism. My question was that whether I should take a single writer of the theory like Stephen Greenball, or while analyzing the work, can I apply many theories? I asked like that.
I got your question. As a student, as a research scholar, you have to provide all the details of the evolution of New Historicism or Marxism in your introductory part of the thesis. But you have to say, we call it limitation. You can take only one aspect of one author. Say, for example, the historicity of text. If you take that alone can be used throughout the thesis. You need not, but you have to say, as far as the research scholar is concerned, this aspect of historicizing the text is viable to the selected novels or chosen novels for study. The researcher proposes the application part of the thesis in this particular author's view, like. And it is better if you show evidences through close reading of the text. You need not worry about theory, but it is given by others in different ways. As a matter of fact, you have to combine, you have to gather, but you have to focus on only 1 or 2, maximum 2, or maximum 3 for each core chapter, like. Then that is between you and your guide, my dear, so that whether you are on right track or not, they will be able to tell you. That's all. I hope
thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody, please? Dr. Livingston?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, good morning. I'm Swagata Ray. Sir, I have a little query. Sir, I just want to know what is the difference between research gap and research problem?
Very good. Sensible. Research problem is equal to statement of the problem. You feel, supposing you take Milton's Paradise Lost. Milton's Paradise Lost is about the fall of man, the concept of the fall of man. Why does, keep quiet please. Why does a man fall? Like that you have an idea, but you are not convinced. So what do you say? You want to probe that into some other aspect. The problem is Milton does not try to Paradise Lost to tell the readers about the biblical theme of Adam and Eve, the way Adam and Eve violated what Father said and the way they had to be punished. No, it is not the only purpose of Milton, but he wants to tell anybody who talks or works against Oliver Cromwell will have to be punished severely. That's the idea. So that is the undercurrent. So if you say this is research problem with which you travel, then research gap, dear friend, what has been done on Paradise Lost, you are giving a history. And then you finally say, whoever has talked about Paradise Lost so far hasn't said anything about the way I approach a problem. So I am going to be different from what others have already said. Thereby you bridge the gap. So research gap is nothing but you summarize or you compile information on the chosen author or your chosen works. You have Shodh Ganga, ProQuest, your own library resources. Then you give one by one. And then finally you say, these things are okay about that author that I have chosen. Mine is going to be like this. I repeat it twice. Thank you. I forget your name.
Sir, Swagata. So that means, sir, in one sentence, we can say that research gap can be justifying the hypothesis. Can we say that? I mean,
No.
no. Okay.
Research gap aims at making the reader understand how you are going to be different from what has been already available.
Okay, sir.
And if you say, as you say, hypothesis is given a new dimension, partially right. We do that only, but you cannot outright claim that it is the one that gives a solution to a research problem or research gap like.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Ridhima Bhalla and I'm a research scholar.
Yeah.
I just want to know, just now you have said regarding the research gap. So, if the extensive body of literature is already available in our domain, then how do we find research gap?
That is where Ridhima Balla, you have your uniqueness, or you don't choose that. If you choose that area that has been exploited completely or exhausted one, then it should be only team-based study.
Okay.
Or you can choose the exhausted book or novel in such a way. You provide another aspect. That is why I justify my stand the use of what do you call the literary theory to interpret. And you need not give all the details of the chosen work for research gap or literature survey. Bits and pieces, chronological, one or two here and there. I will share my thesis research gap or literature survey to Dr. Beulah. It runs about only 2 pages, 300 words. That is enough.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. If you share any good example of the thesis which you surveyed, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I will share my own thesis that I converted into a book to Dr. Beulah. Then she will in turn send you. Don't worry. That can be a model.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Because I studied under a great man called Dr. B. Krishnamurthy, a versatile scholar. So
okay.
I share with Dr. Beulah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful presentation, sir.
Right. Livingston?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, bro. Yes, Siddharth, please.
Yes, sir. Would it be okay to make brief interpretations wherever appropriate? based on theories other than the primary theory used in the thesis?
Your voice is not clear, my dear. Can you make it clearer?
Sir, can we make brief interpretations wherever appropriate based on theories other than the primary theory used in the thesis?
No, not required. See, that is what I was telling. Your thesis is not about what you want to convey. Your thesis is about one dimension of what you want to convey. In such a way, there should be systematic approach. Just because you have multiple interpretations possible for a theory that can be explained in the framework part of your thesis, that need not find a place in the core chapters of your thesis. Siddharth, have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir.
I think you have connectivity issue. That's why your voice is feeble. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Dr. Livingston?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I don't want to drag, I don't want to retain them. I will be available up to 5 o'clock, doesn't matter, but they have to be doing their work, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful lecture and answering all the questions patiently. And it's time to...
Livingston, if there is no exaggeration, we have been doing the same thing, Professor. What is there for novelty? For me, it is a new audience, that's all. Wherever we go, we do the same thing, right?
Yes, sir.
And sometimes, your the sudden the brain wave that you get, the sudden idea that you get, something that strikes you, that alone makes a difference. All other things are, all the people of this audience are aware of quite effectively, in my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, it's time to express our gratitude for all the insights we have gained today. To deliver the vote of thanks, I now invite Dr. M. Pillaiyanmanai, Assistant Professor of English, Research Head, NSS Coordinator, and convener of this program.
Thank you, Professor Jude. I am profusely happy to convey my gratitude to the discerning facilitator, Dr. T.S. Varadarajan, serving as an assistant professor in the PG and Research Department of English, Tyagaraja College, Madurai, for gracing day 7 of our faculty development program. He is undoubtedly a beacon of inspiration to students, researchers, and teaching fraternities as well. It is a bliss to share with you all that he took the initiative during the pandemic times as admin of Professors of English group. And he coordinated more than 800 professors of English in that WhatsApp group. Profound thanks for giving me a chance to be a part of that group, sir. He is an exceptional adept, and I have observed his excellence in describing the essence of the doctoral vivaosi in the professors group. And he could transform that into narrative where he could make each question and response a chapter in the academic group. Moreover, his selfless dedication to the literary community is evident by his free online 10-day course on improving writing skill organized a week before, through which he has ignited a passion for writing who had the privilege to be a part of it. Thanks again, sir, for transcending the confines of traditional education. And I wish and believe that your tireless commitment to the literary field will nurture and continue to inspire the generations to come. Thanks to all the knowledge-laden fraternities for the commitment and time to make this faculty development program successful. Thank you all.
Thank you, Beulah, for your excellent, from the bottom of heart kind of a reaction to what I have done. We, as teachers, we have to do this, and I don't claim anything for doing that. It is our duty. And as long as possible, we do our work in such a way. I always follow the words of my research supervisor, such a fantastic man. And it is his knowledge that he imparted that made me what I am today. And I tell you, friends, 10 years back, I have no hesitation to tell. 10 to 12 years back, 2009, 10, like, I could not even write 2 sentences continuously with the confidence. I have been teaching English for the past 23 years. That's a different thing. Confidence is very important. You know, that was instilled by my research supervisor, Dr. Krishnamurthy sir, in such a way I could write all these things now. So you also have a great career. Work hard in order to make a mark. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Have a great day. Get ready for session 2 at 2 o'clock after taking your food and other things. Always get connected. If you are a teacher, you can be part of the group. Or Dr. Beulah, you can add them, your members of staff, anybody for that matter. And thank you all for this. And I thank the management, principal sir, for this excellent opportunity to share what I have been sharing. Thank you. Thank you once again. Dr. Livingston, your language is also fantastic, sir. You can do plenty of things. What I love in you is your patient way of delivery. Thinking and talking is something, a virtue that you have been doing. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir,
Thanks a
for
lot.
gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir.
Can I quit now? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.